So read that. You might even want to click on it and read the whole thread that this comment is attached to. There's a part of the USDA called the Economic Research Service. They're probably severely underfunded and really clenching their buttholes right now, but their job is to analyze economic data coming out of farms, including the amount of money that farmers make, how much money they're worth, how much land they have, etc. Why are we talking about that? Well, because most of us in the United States are conditioned to believe that farmers are poor people, are not doing so great. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, we've convinced ourselves that the only farmers who are doing well are not really farmers. They're these big corporate mega farms, and they're just putting a squeeze on the little guy. The second is we are constantly, ceaselessly talking about farm debt. But now it's time to ruin everything. Corporate farms are about 1% of all farms. They produce way more than most of the small family farms and mid-sized family farms, even the large family farms, but very few farms and very little farmland is under corporate control. Second thing, farm debt, estimated to be somewhere near $550 billion. What we don't talk about is that it's offset by over $3 trillion in assets. Median farmer net worth is over $1 million. That's median, not average. It is not skewed by the handful of bigger farms that are doing really well. Most of these guys are doing okay on their balance sheets. Furthermore, when it comes to income, again, from the Economic Research Service, most farmers make well above median household income compared to other people. The way farming works in America, it is not a full-time gig for most people. It is something that keeps you busy 6 or 7 times of the year, and the rest of the time, you and your spouse are working an off-farm job. Why does any of this matter? It matters because people like this fella and a couple other people in the comments who know farm country and know who that in these rural communities, it's usually farmers who are the ones who have money, who have the resources. They're tired of bailing them out. They're tired of their working class tax dollars going to people who are millionaires. And that sentiment is reflected in this comment. Our strategy should be to make a profit on the farm, not lose money, then hope we get bailed out. Economists have even talked about what the effects are of subsidizing agriculture, especially specific sections of agriculture so heavily. The word for that is usually market distortions. And the way my daddy explained it was half of men like boobs, but if ass is free, then guess what? Everybody's an ass man. Yep. That's how my dad explained microeconomics to 13-year-old me. Now, there's really only two ways to be profitable as a farmer if you were to yank away everything that is or looks like a subsidy. Number one is to be involved in a commodity when the price is high, but not be involved in the commodity at all when the prices are low. Now, from a practical standpoint, that's almost impossible to do. Ask anybody who trades stocks about trying to time the market. Commodities markets works the same way. But even if somebody had a palantir and could see like when prices are going to do what they're going to do, if they were able to do that and manipulate the markets in that way, our food supply would be in shambles. There'd be famine in this country and every country. The main purpose of subsidies is to keep market prices relatively stable, to keep farmers producing food and not gambling, pulling in and pulling out of the market based on what craziness they think prices are going to do. You got to remember, food is different than cars or tools or computers or cell phones. Like, we can live for a while using our old cell phones or our old cars. If there's big disruptions to the new car market, it's not necessarily going to grind life to a halt because there's stuff out there we can use, but food is different. As they say, society is 3 meals away from chaos, and food does not last long the way that other durable goods do. There is a unique social interest in making sure that farmers keep farming even when market prices don't necessarily justify farming, say, corn or cattle or whatever, as the highest use of the resources they have. Let's be real. If it's all about profit, then the most profitable thing that a farmer could do for the most part is to sell their land to a developer. Gambling in the market aside, there is a second way to be profitable in agriculture, and this is the way that most profitable farms go, and that is to control the production, distribution, and marketing. Most farms do this by forming co-ops. When farmers form co-ops, they pool their buying power, they pool their investment to create factories and all the stuff they need to produce stuff from their commodities whose price they have no control over into other goods where they have more control over the price. Think grape growers forming National Juice Company or Welch's to produce Welch's grape juice where they have more control over the pricing. With all that said, where this guy and I part ways is the part about voting for Donald Trump to rip the cords out of the wall and pull those subsidies off farmers, because those things and many other things he's doing, like tariffs, like freezing various types of spending, starting trade wars, etc., are going to make it more difficult for farmers to make money even when they're not supported directly by subsidies. This president is basically doing everything he can to take money out of the pockets of middle and lower class people so that they are driven to the largest businesses on earth that have the lowest prices. Low prices that are themselves subsidized by extremely low corporate real tax rates and tax rates on rich people. While Trump tries to balance the budget that he created on the backs of working class people and small businesses like us, he's taking money out of the hands of people who would ordinarily like to shop with us, i.e., he's creating the conditions where people can only afford to go grocery shopping at friggin' Walmart. That creates a vicious cycle because without subsidies, a cattle producer like this guy would never be able to produce cattle for a low enough price to get his stuff into Walmart. So yeah, while there are problems with subsidies, like it being socialism for the rich and creating market distortions, Donald Trump is not the answer to the problem.